Okay, cool. So this recording gets us up to the 2nd.
Of December?
No, of January.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have the Dallas show on the 12th, so we can do the 14th.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Calendar Man.
Of December?
No, January.
Guys.
Right, yeah. So I've got my boys through the 28th, which means I can do the second one.
Okay.
Of January? No, we're good until the 2nd.
No, the second of the thing that you said.
I made a calendar costume. I don't know if you guys saw. I'm a Calendar Man.
Who's it?
Well, you mean the 14th,
me?
right?
Yes.
No, he said January.
Oh,
When he said it, he said
Yes,
January.
yes, the 14th.
Covered the walls and calendar pages. Not sure if you guys saw.
Okay, so we were doing 2 and then the monthly mini on the 14th.
Did we do December?
Yeah, in November.
Oh, that's right. We did 2 in November. You're right.
I cut out
you're right.
some poster board. I made a costume.
But we do need one for January, though, Noah.
Right, but not in December, we don't.
Right. You're right.
Right, not in December,
I
exactly.
wrote on my face in Sharpie.
Got it. Okay, great. Eli, why are you dressed like a, what is that, a numbers sandwich?
I hate you guys.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Heath, and I'll be trying to come up with exciting action words to describe the passage of time, which is literally what we're going to be talking about. Basically, I'll be a metronome with segue questions as the host. It's going to be fun. And, of course, I'll be joined by the usual suspects. First up, we have 2 men who forgot to become Quiet Riot to justify their physical appearance, Cecil and Noah.
Yeah, I wear this weird metal hockey mask for your comfort, not for mine.
And to be fair, Heath, after people meet you, they're often inspired to have as much hair as possible while they can.
And also joining us, 2 men who forgot to do anything to justify Eli's physical appearance, Eli and Tom.
I didn't forget. But how does one improve on a statue of David in Velcro shoes?
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I also think of myself as the sex symbol of our podcast.
We don't have a sex symbol in this podcast.
It's me. That is who it
The
is.
circle with a line through it.
All right, before we get started, just want to give a big thanks to our patrons who give us money on patreon.com. So if you're anti-Nazi like them, maybe give us some money too. Or continue hating Jewish people. It's all up to you. Either of those options. You do you. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
Well, Keith, today we're going to be talking about the Gregorian Calendar.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Noah, really?
Yeah, I did it just for you, Tom.
Well, just to get back at me? I don't blame you, but
Calendar.
And about a
Noah,
calendar.
You read an article about day grouping and got a raging erection. Are you ready to explain yourself?
Heath, I live in a constant state of explaining myself.
But not erections, so.
All right, I guess I'll ask the obvious question first. Why would you pick this topic?
That's a great question, Heath, because eventually the robot overlords are going to take over. And when they do, the first thing they're going to do is demand an explanation for this stupid fucking calendar. So at some point in the future, one of our listeners, maybe in archives, could very well find themselves in a Robotron-like situation where an enforcer says, explain this dumbass system to me or I turn you into a flesh basket. So in a sense, this essay is saving lives.
Okay, wait, guys. Are flesh baskets an option? Nobody told me there was going to be flesh baskets.
Great. Now I'm hungry again.
Me too. Why I was excited.
All right, lovely. Well, since you're clearly going to rage-splain your issues with the Gregorian calendar now, regardless of what I say here, guess I might as well ask, What are your issues with the Gregorian calendar, Noah?
I am so glad you asked, Heath. It would be quicker, honestly, to tell you what my issues aren't.
Can we have him ask that question then? Can
so-
we shorten things up?
No, we can't, because he
abridge
already asked the other one, and I wrote down an answer.
Great.
So, first of all, we have this ridiculous hodgepodge of 30 and 31-day months that have grown adults reciting nursery rhymes and counting their knuckles like a bunch of fucking idiots. And meanwhile, February's over here sitting in a corner going, no, May and August needed an extra day. I get it. It's fine. It's fine. And September's yelling, fuck you, February. My name literally means 7th month, and I'm the 9th fucking month. I look like an asshole.
No, absolutely. No, I get it. I usually boycott September through December just out of pure linguistic integrity. I'm with you. This is
Thank you.
important stuff. Time's up, man. Time's up.
Okay, I got it. Message is loud and clear, guys. We should start approving each other's topics. Okay, that's the thing. So funny. All right, first Heath does only stories about his gross sex life, and now we have whatever this fucking thing is. Great. Well played, gentlemen. Okay, you got me. All right, we can submit these things for approval. You don't have to continue, Noah. You've made your point. We can back off.
No. But I see. I like to keep things related, so we do Heath's sex life, and then I do the thing that Heath times his sex life by the next week. Okay. Oh, and another issue that I have.
Oh God, he wasn't even kidding. He's
No,
going
I
to keep
wasn't.
going.
Should've-
This
should've
is going
asked
to be
the other
about
way.
calendars for real. About okay.
And so, as if just being confusing for the fun of it wasn't enough, we've also managed to work out a calendar where the seasons start like 2/3 of the way through the month, and the year starts a week and a half after one of those. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and we're also going to have a whole episode about naming things badly by a man whose pseudonym is a bad pun.
It is a good ton, sir.
Tom, pay attention. Heath's not doing the essay this week. Noah is doing the essay this week.
Okay, so where does the story of the Gregorian calendar begin?
With pre-Gregorian calendars, Heath.
Of fucking course it does.
So calendars go at least as far back as writing, but we know the concept predates writing by thousands of years. Obviously, even before humans started getting into their agricultural phase, it was in our best interest to keep track of the year, even in places that don't have to deal with snowy winters, right? You still have to keep track of like migrations and the rainy season and shit. So pretty much by the time you have Homo sapiens, you probably have some conception of the calendar.
How did they name strippers back then if they had no names for months? That's
Please welcome to the stage. Time when the sun is angry and goes to sleep earlier.
All right, so now Earth gives us humans 3 universal natural timekeepers. The rotation of the Earth gives us the days. The orbit of the Earth gives us the years. The phases of the moon give us months. Now, the day and night cycle and the moon's phases are pretty easy to observe, but the orbit of the Earth, as represented to early humans, meant pegging the sun at its highest and lowest points, which was a little bit trickier to eyeball.
Yeah. You end up with your dick out after Labor Day. You look ridiculous.
Awkward for everyone, right? Yeah.
I don't even want to meet the woman pegging the sun. That's fucking. I mean, I'll take her number, but I'm not
Yes,
promising
don't you, though?
anything's gonna happen.
All right, so now we've all seen the ruins of various annual clocks made by early humans.
Yeah, no, we haven't, because some of us don't spend our free time staring at broken clocks. Noah, that's not what we all do with our free time.
Okay, everyone but Tom has seen Stonehenge.
Not even true. I don't. Okay.
All right, so like, but that's the thing, like Stonehenge and stuff like that. They certainly had other ritual meanings, but largely they were derived as a means of keeping track of the shadows changes throughout the year. In a lot of ancient South American and Mesoamerican ruins, they would have a series of like lined up windows such that the sun would go directly through them at the solstice.
You just know there was some ancient Celtic guy's wife standing there, little to the left, little more, too far, too far.
Eli, that's what all the right wingers that used to listen to this podcast say about you, actually.
It can be both.
Guys, this would just be a great place to like take a break and, talk about something else. My cats like to lie down in the sun. We talk about cats now. Everyone likes cats. The internet likes
topic
cats.
idea: sleeping preferences of. Okay.
I just can't.
For most of human history, this was basically enough to do the trick. If you had a pretty good idea when the summer and the winter solstices were, you could wing the rest of it. Right. So for early humans, it mattered when the rainy season was or when you had to get the harvest going. But it didn't matter whether it was May 19th or June 2nd. It just mattered that you had a general idea of when in the year it was. Now, all this lackadaisical season tracking was fine for a while, but eventually you end up with commerce and writing and statewide civilizations, and you have to get a little more specific. So you make full-blown calendars where people can say, okay, everybody has to come to the King's Court like next Wednesday or whatever.
You said 3 sunsets? I thought you said 4 sunsets. There has to be a better way.
Exactly.
Sunset it and forget it.
Who wants anything that isn't full blown? That just seems, it kind of seems fucking rude. Come on, April, finish the job. The fuck?
All right, now this creates a problem because worldwide, people are going into this with a general sense of solar years and lunar months, but those things don't line up. Right, so a lunar month is 29.5306 days. So not only does that not divide into the year correctly, it doesn't even divide up into days correctly. Now, some societies decided that to fix that problem by ignoring the moon altogether.
Grog, will you please tell the moon to pass the tides?
Tell the moon yourself. Don't do this. Come on.
I'm not speaking to the moon right now.
No. Not exactly, but yeah, kind of like that. So they would those societies just divided up the atom and called those divisions months and didn't really give a shit whether they applied to lunar months or not. The other societies were fucking stupid.
Larry, we're not doing 3 moon rises. That's fucking dumb, okay?
No. If you calculate the least common multiple, club to the face. Nerd.
All right, so the Gregorian calendar, the one that we use today, has its roots in a pre-Etruscan calendar.
My God, with the Etruscans again or whatever the fuck. Who cares? Can you write one essay without an Etruscan in it?
I don't know why I would try, but maybe I will. All right, so that calendar divided the year into 10 months. We're not 100% sure how those divisions worked. Most likely it was not an even division of months with like 36 and 37 days, but rather the whole winter was just seen as that shitty part of the year where most of us die, and the part of the year that they used was divided into the 10 months. And let me caveat that whole statement with a quick reminder that on this show, we only pretend to be experts. I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure everyone figured that out when I changed why the Titan missile silo exploded, because the real reason was boring. But thank you for your honesty.
I'm going to note that you added a missile explosion, and we're going to go ahead and leave the calendar episode as is. That's all right.
Oh,
great
okay.
call.
And then
Awesome.
the calendar
Perfect.
exploded. Now, are you happy, Tom?
Oh, it's so much better. It's so much better.
Land.
Tell me about the tits on the calendar,
All right.
please. Just describe them in
So
detail.
now, of course, calendars arose over time in multiple areas that didn't intermix immediately, and they weren't always formalized. And when they were, it wasn't always by the best qualified people. Right. So in a lot of cultures, the religious authorities controlled the calendar and tracked shit meticulously, so they'd sacrifice the right megafauna on the right day. So when it came to making official decisions about the months and shit, the guy with the last word usually got his job by being the best at eating questionable mushrooms.
Stupid ancient people. Side note, I booked the LA theater for March, so we need to talk flights and hotels, which I will also book after the recording. You guys get a second.
You know, there is no way you're going to get an Uber calendar if you keep with this intermixing. I'm just saying.
Well, I wouldn't say no way. It'll be a struggle. But no. I'm saying the mixing is good. I like
better
compliment.
Uber.
All right, so fast forward to the fall of the Roman Republic, where they're using this calendar that's been thrown together over generations by people with silly hats. Now, the calendar has a lot of problems, but the biggest one is that it doesn't account for leap years. As we all know, the orbit of the Earth doesn't neatly divide into days either. The actual orbit, or the tropical year, is 365.2422 days long. Now, if your calendar doesn't account for this, it gets thrown out of whack by about a quarter of a day a year. You use the same calendar for a couple hundred years, and suddenly you're worse at predicting the start of winter than the marketing department for Game of Thrones.
Old-timey Donald Trump tweeting about how this is the coldest June on record.
Yeah, right.
Old-timey James Inhofe winds up to throw a fucking snowball to be an asshole, and he's just engulfed in flames by a dragon. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I would kiss Poison James Inhofe so hard.
And I don't even know which he'd be more pissed about, right?
I mean, this is a quick note here that the Romans were worried about solving problems that wouldn't plague them until hundreds of years have passed. Whereas today, if it doesn't fit into the quarterly earnings call, nobody cares.
Right.
Like, even if the it in it is the destruction of our planet in measurable gasps. Yeah.
All right, speaking of which, so this is the part of the story where along comes Julius Caesar and reminds us that sometimes it's good to have an emperor. Okay, so by then the astronomy was advanced enough to have identified the problem and hashed out a solution. You just need to add one day every 4 years, and it would more or less balance out. So all they needed was a guy who could say, damn it, everybody, the calendar is this now. And Julius Caesar was happy to do it so long as he got to stick an extra month in there and name it after himself. And then Augustus did the same shit because once October wasn't the 8th month anymore, who gives a fuck where anything goes?
To be fair, this does offer a lot more insight into his death.
Guys, I've been looking over the calendar I invented, and I'm thinking if we move the third month of every year into a moon cycle...
Stab you right now. Stab. Boom. Nerd. Did you guys stab him?
It's the out of breath part.
All right, so this brings us to the Julian calendar, which was the standard in Europe for another 1,500 years or so.
God.
But then along came a maverick named Pope Gregory the 13th. And before he was done, he would change everything.
I doubt that.
Okay, I mean, you can't just like talk as if you're movie preview guy and it becomes suspenseful. It's still just a list of days is what we're talking about.
Just cue the skit, bro. This is not the time for notes.
All right. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break for some apropos of nothing.
I need appointment.
Okay, you want next available or other one?
What one next available?
I have one open at half moon, 2 suns at sunrise.
No, that no work. I have berry gathering at sunrise.
I can do 3 moons, 4 suns, and 1 darkness.
That date night.
Well, Dr. Thaw go on vacation after that. If you want, we can do any time after bunnies and flowers.
Okay. How's third moon after flowers?
Third moon is fine. You want crickets or roosters?
Let's do crickets.
And what do you need?
I need hole drilled in head, so let out the demons.
Okay, we have you down for third moon after flowers at crickets.
Yes.
See you then, Larry King.
And we're back. When we left off, Noah was trying to make calendar reform on Roman C-SPAN sound exciting. So, Noah, how's that working out for you?
Oh, for Noah, how's that working out for Noah? For Noah, it's working great. I'm sure, because he's boring. For me, I'm cleaning my gun to make sure it doesn't jam when I need it. And I need it. I need it right now, guys. Oiled up.
All right.
You're boring.
So the year was 1582, and something was amiss.
Guys, if we don't stop making fun of Noah's essay, he's going to make us stick our hands into a bowl of peeled grapes. I can feel it coming.
I'm going to do that anyway. Might as well make fun of the essay. So,
don't-
as you recall, the actual year isn't 365.25 days. It's 365.2422 days because there is no God, and any effort to ascribe intentionality to the universe is doomed. So the reforms that Caesar made were fine for the span of a couple of centuries, but after 1,627 years, even that 0.0078 day error was starting to crop up. Now, it wasn't much. Over all that time, the Julian calendar was only off by about a week and a half, but still, that was not acceptable.
Yeah, still not that big a deal for Delta, too, actually. So.
No, for Delta, that's fine.
All right, so I had a plan. Have you guys seen The Core?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What if we get Delroy Lindo to take us inside the core, and we install a little like a braking system on the spinny part of the axis? We just
the
like
spinny
slow
part.
it on the spinny part.
Yeah.
So we knock down the days to a nice round number, like 360 or something.
That actually, yeah, that's a
Degree
good
good
plan.
Yeah, actually.
I'm down with that. And
It's
it's
more exciting than this essay, so let's try it.
and more plausible than the core. So this is papal reform. So I want to be super clear up front that this was not done for like for like a sane reason. Okay, so the Pope wasn't looking ahead to a time 2 millennia later when the calendar was going to have some real problems.
Yeah, the calendar can't have problems. That's it. Just nothing would be different except the name on something. Like if winter were in June, nothing changes except for we say Burr June.
Unless you have to plant crops or anything. So, but he wasn't worried about that. He was not worried about harvesting crops at optimum time or anything. The impetus for the reform and the thing that made this an international emergency was that people were celebrating Easter on the wrong day.
Oh.
And that was bound to piss off God eventually.
Right. Yeah, and it's pronounced Passover. They were saying it wrong, too.
Now, of course, as we all know, Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the first full moon, occurring on or after the vernal equinox, as determined by the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE. And holy shit, does that sound like something that only a committee could land on?
Just like Jesus intended.
Right, yeah. Anyway, no surprise, this wasn't super easy for the average medieval peasant to calculate, and the whole panoply of Catholic celebrations are keyed into this one particular date. So telling people which Sunday Easter was going to be on in any given year was a big part of the church's job.
I love that was some guy's job. Just like, okay, 13-year-old father of 6, listen closely. 3 sunsets from now, I need you to celebrate your zombie god king rising from the grave and you died, damn it. Okay, oldest son of 13-year-old father of 6.
Yet I'm still not sure how this changes anything. I mean, like, you're going to church anyway. It's not like you can stay home. If the man with the money tells you today is Easter and you're a dirt-eating peasant dying slowly of tooth decay, what fucking difference could this possibly make in your life?
Oh,
it's
dude,
Easter? Okay, who fucking cares?
Honestly, you only can say that because you don't know the ridiculous amount of shit that Catholics have to do all around Easter.
Oh, I actually don't. Yeah.
All right. So eventually it comes to the attention of the Pope that the old calendar is off by more than 7 days. So for centuries now, all the Catholics have been celebrating Easter on the wrong day. And rather than say, and that's made no discernible difference, Tom's right, our religion must be nonsense, the Pope swung into action and tried to fix everything before the omniscient guy noticed. And this led to what we now call the Gregorian reforms.
Oh, good, because, the Gregorian reforms come up so often. I'm glad we finally have a mind-numbing series of details to tie that old chestnut to. Man, that's going to come in handy.
Yeah, well, this is actually kind of exciting. This is when the Great Calendar Wars began. But that's for a different episode. So, Noah,
an exciting one.
So, Noah, to the nearest 10,000th of a day, how did they work out the math at this point? Since we're not going to talk about the calendar
quick
wars.
Note to the audience, guys. Set your sleep timers to stun on this episode. That'd be great.
All right, now, obviously, the goal here is to get the average as close to the tropical year, the 365.2422 days, as possible. The Julian calendar gets you to 365 and a quarter, but the proposal from Gregory's council was to hold back a leap day on years that were divisible by 100, except on the ones that were divisible by 400. So like 17, 1800, 1900, those don't get a leap day, but 2000 would. And that gets you way closer. The average year under that system is 365.2425 days long, only 3 1,000ths of a day from perfect. That was enacted in October of 1582, ushering in the Gregorian calendar that most of the world uses today. But there was still a problem.
Oh, my God. I am glad we didn't do some other boring medieval story, like the plague. Oh, that's great. These calendar negotiations are riveting.
I agree.
Let's continue with that.
So this happened in 1582, but the Protestant Reformation started in 1517 and was in full swing by the time Gregory made his proclamation.
Oh, good. I'm loving all this calendar talk. This is great. Hey, guys, did you know duck penises are shaped like corkscrews?
So cool.
I don't even know if that's true.
I
don't know if that's true. I don't even care at all.
Heath. You knew that too
don't
fast.
Don't care. Just like the audience.
Too fast. They are shaped like a corkscrew, though. It's fucking cool.
They are. Yeah. So
I don't even know if I made that
vaginas have little, like, divergent little fake vaginas in them. It's some crazy shit. All right, so sorry. All the loyal Catholic states right away after these reforms switched their calendars over because the Pope just told them to, but the Protestant majority countries were going to be damned if they were going to use that evil, slightly more accurate calendar that the papacy endorsed. So for centuries after that, the calendar you used in Europe would vary from country to country.
Yeah, and the French calendar kept surrendering a day to literally any other calendar.
They're just like, no Tuesday. We like the sound of that.
No, Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday.
That's good, too. We can still hand over the Jews at every opportunity throughout history, right? Including right now.
All right, so the transition from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar started in 1582 and didn't wrap up until Turkey officially abandoned the Julian calendar in 1927.
Jesus.
So for all those years, you have this weird dual dating system when you study European history that leads to all kind of fucked up stuff. Like, for example, the fact that the October Revolution started on November 7th.
I said next week. 2 weeks ago, last week was the next week. The next week. I said next. This is way more important than the fucking leap day thing. Next means next.
I can't even remember to get to work on time when we move over to daylight savings. Like, can you imagine the fucking egg on that guy's face when he's just like in the middle of his own revolution? He stops and looks around. He's all alone. It's just him. He's like, oh, fuck. Damn it.
You guys are going by the old yeah, right. Oh, and by the way, I should mention too that the switch over to the Gregorian calendar wasn't always peaceful. I mean, once religion gets interjected into it, it's no longer just a case of, yeah, this calendar is obviously better. It's a matter of cultural pride, right? So even now, a lot of countries still use a hybrid system where they use the Gregorian calendar for civic purposes, but the Julian calendar for religious shit.
So they wanted to switch calendars, but they Gregorian can't, right? I'll show myself out. I'll just show myself out.
Oh, hey, Cecil, can you check the date? Oh, no, I'll just check my own calendar. It looks like it's time to drink a new Coke and kill Noah. That's what it says on my calendar now.
All right, well, then I better finish this quick. So it should surprise nobody that among the least reasonable cultures when it came to the adoption of this new calendar was Great Britain and its colonies, which still included the U.S. at the time. This is in 1752. And at this point, the two calendars had drifted apart by 11 days. It was increasingly difficult for the crown, which was heavily engaged in international commerce across the continent at this point, to cling to their outmoded calendar. And just to show you how bad they were at calendaring by now, the switch was made in 1752 by an act called the Calendar Act of 1750.
All right, but to be fair, we're going to end up doing 2 censuses in 2030. Like a fucking makeup test. Give him a pass on that one.
Yeah, like we're going to live to 2030. Okay, Willy Wonka. It's 2030. I'm over the age of 30.
How in the fuck does a calendar being off by 11 days from the other calendar equate to a 2-year gap? Like, was one of the calendars using a dog year multiplier? What is that? How is that even possible?
You want me to do the more math? You want me to do more math on this?
I take back the question.
Okay.
Jerry
now,
will disregard.
there are persistent historical rumors, and honestly, this is like the whole reason I chose this topic is because I'd heard these before and I thought they were true. There were these persistent rumors that during this transition, British subjects and rioters took to the streets shouting, "Give us back our 11 days," as though they were missing a marathon on TV or something. But unfortunately, modern historians have shit all over that. That's probably never happened. But regardless of the veracity of the riot stories, it's still hilarious to look at the act itself and see how far out of their way they went to never call this the Gregorian calendar or acknowledge Pope Gregory in any way. Instead, they called it the New Style calendar, and then they came up with their very own calculations that just happened to look exactly like the one that Gregory had acted back in the 16th century.
Oh my God! No, you're right. This is hilarious. Yes. Tell me another of your tall tales of wacky chronological hijinks. Oh, my sides! My face hurts from all the laughing. You guys.
I love that they called it the New Style, though. You know, there were a bunch of stupid moms on ye old Facebook complaining about the New Style calendar. In my day, we used the sextant. Shut up, Helen. Shut up.
All right, so it's worth noting that the move to the Gregorian calendar, at least within the British Empire, also included changing the calendar start date to one that made less sense. So through most of human history, at least in the places where it snows, people considered the end of winter to be the start of the year. The Roman calendar started in March, and it's actually moving this back to January that fucks up the translation of those month names. The calendar the Brits were using in 1752 started on April 5th, except in Scotland, where they changed it to January 1st back in 1600 just to piss the British off. But when they made these reforms in 1752, they changed everything back to like a January 1st start date, too.
All right, so is this just like the calendar we're stuck with now, or can we fix it?
Like, probably. It's like QWERTY. You know, there's no reason. Dvorak is better, but we're too used to it. But it's not because there aren't better alternatives. For example, the world calendar, which was first proposed by Elizabeth Achilles of Brooklyn, New York in 1930, would swap around the number of days in each month to make 4 even quarters, each of them exactly 13 weeks long. January, April, July, and October would each get 31 days. Everything else gets 30. The year would always begin on a Sunday, and we get 4 Friday the 13th a year.
Try to pitch this to a culture that still builds buildings with a 12A and a 12B floor right before floor 14. See how that fucking works for you.
Right.
All right, well, no, just start each month on the 0th, and those are all Thursday the 12th.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Yeah,
Can we stop suggesting things? Can we just stop suggesting things to get through this?
All right, so now to make this work, if you're doing the math in your head, you're like, wait, that doesn't work. Yeah. In order to get here, you need what are called intercalary days. These are days that just kind of exist outside of the calendar. They're not in a month. Like you would put the calendar on hold for one day between June and July, and again between December and January for leap years. And that would be weird. I mean, not only would those days not be part of a month, but they couldn't even be days of the week either. So that might take a minute to get used to, but it would make it a hell of a lot easier to calculate future dates, since February 30th, for example, would always be on a Thursday.
Like me easy to calculate, or you easy to calculate? Because I have an abacus.
I don't calculate my calendar. The fuck? What are you talking about? Days that are on hold? How would that even work? Like, hey man, what day is it?
Oh, it isn't.
Huh? No, I mean, just tell me the date, man. I just want to know what to write down on this.
Okay, well, it's the isn't-th of Flusterberry, technically.
I fucking hate you. I hate you.
Dude, don't blame me. People always get so fucking moody in Flusterberry. I didn't invent Flusterberry.
All right, so once you add the concept of intercalary days, you can actually do a lot better than the world calendar.
Cool. Do you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite.
If it's not puppies, I don't want to know.
My
what his
favorite.
calendar. It better be Dilbert or puppies. One or the other.
It's certainly not fucking Dilbert. So my favorite is the International Fixed Calendar, also known as the...
Get the fuck out of here.
Right? It's a
my
good
favorite
one.
too.
Also known as the Cotsworth Plan, the Eastman Plan, the Equal Month Calendar, or the 13-month calendar. So, okay, the problem here is 365 doesn't divide neatly into any reasonable month divisions, but 364 divides equally into 13 months of 28 days each. And for fuck's sake, that already works with that arbitrary 7-day week shit, right? You end up with one day at the end of the year. You call that year day. It's intercalary. It's not a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever. You tack on another one for leap years, and bam, you've got a logical, easy to use calendar where nobody has to count knuckles anymore. And the 7th of the month is always a fucking Saturday.
Yeah, and you can make year day voting day.
There you go.
I see. Now I see why Big Calendar is suppressing this. This makes sense. Okay, I get it now.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like counting on my knuckles is a lot easier than having an unassigned year day, which just comes around once in a while with a fucking identity crisis or whatever.
It would be doing nothing, though. Like, really?
Yeah,
You think that doing nothing would...
I'm okay with the one day off a year for free.
We'd work.
All right, so in case you're curious, by the way, the International Fixed Calendar proposes that the 13th month be called Sol and be inserted between June and July, but that's stupid. Instead, you should move September through December back to where they belong.
Yes.
And then we could vote on the name of the extra month online, so we get like Monthy McMonth Face or something fun.
Face would be the
And honestly, like, we could also rename July and August too, because fuck genocidal Roman dictators. They don't need months.
Agree.
No, let's
agree.
not open that can of worms, because knowing the internet, we're going to end up with self-care and Hitler month. Like, it's not, there's no in-between for us. It's just,
Oh my God. Can you imagine the fucking statuses? Like, Tom is feeling loved. Today I got drunk and watched Netflix all day in my pajamas and didn't even conquer the tasks of basic hygiene. It's just my little way of caring for me. I love you, self-care month. Hashtag fierce.
That's cool. It's spoon timber. I'm allowed to.
Stamp timber. Can't do it.
All right. So, of course, not every proposed change to the Gregorian calendar is sane. There's also apparently a push by some group of people to adopt the Holocene calendar, which is exactly the same as the one we have now, except we add 10,000 to all the year numbers so that it better corresponds with the start of the Neolithic Revolution. I mean, look, I'm a huge fan of not pegging our start year to the incorrect calculation of the birth of Jesus, and it actually would make it a little less confusing when you start talking about shit that happens at or year near one, or when you have to calculate like the difference between like a BC date and an AD date, but mostly that would just be extra syllables.
All right. If you had to summarize what you've learned today in one sentence, what would it be?
That I'll never make Tom happy unless I find an article about like famous historical farts.
That would be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Just something classy.
Tie vote. Tie vote.
All right. Are you ready for a quiz from the panel?
By every conceivable method of timekeeping, yes, sir.
All right, Noah, since we're smart talking stuff I don't understand about calendars this episode. A, why does Wednesday have the D before the N? B,
Wait.
why do some people start their weeks on Sunday and some people on Monday? What's going on there? C, when you have a flight that's at midnight on a day, why isn't there an international symbol for, come on, the night of the day? You know what I mean. The night of the day.
No.
D, what is mountain time?
No, the symbol's the day that it's on. There's 24 hours in a day.
I'm going now.
I feel like you've missed the point of like I feel like your question is backwards, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. It's named after Odin. Christians are bitchy about inane stuff. The rest of us already know what midnight means, and mountain time is the same as central. It's just higher up.
So you gotta be like, mountain time.
Adorable. Oh my God. That's adorable. Oh my God. Oh, great essay, Noah. Really cleared up so
Thank
many
you.
things I've wondered about so long. Had some topics that jumped to mind though, while you were babbling away, which is my next essay as a result. A, the layman's guide to quarterly corporate tax filing. That intrigues me. B, what bugs might be thinking? That's possible. Or C, suburban lawn mowing, a history. Those are just some other.
Okay, so it can't be
great
C because
topics.
I already have that on my reserved list. Probably not B because you don't like to do thinky stuff. I'm gonna guess A.
Yeah. We get Thomas Smith. We base the whole career on it.
But Noah's not making that up. Lawns are on his list. He's told me this before. He's not fucking with you.
Are they really? Wait, are they really?
Jesus Christ. You know, we were talking about we were going to take off weeks, guys. I want to reserve
I just
that
show
week
up and
off.
it's just me one night.
It's just no.
I can't even unintentionally make a hyperbolic joke about how boring this is without it being on your fucking masturbation list.
Noah Pose laws the shit out of you if you're not ready. Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right, one more question, Noah. If we're going to name a new month after our current leadership, what will we call it? A, name it after Pence and call it gay. B, name it after Trump and call it you lie. C, name it after the Saudi prince and call it dismember. Or D, name it after the American people and call it disgust.
Secret answer E, something with huge in it.
Wrong?
Yes, I am wrong.
Oh, he's
Cecil.
wrong this week.
Good
It
work.
was one of the other ones.
You
That's just
stumped
because he's
him.
never put huge in anything.
Cecil, you're the winner. You get to choose. Who do you want next week?
Well, clearly, Tom was just he was itching to go next here. He
Yeah,
wanted to do
corporate
something
tax
super
filings!
exciting. So tax filing it is next week, Tom.
Dust mites and tax filing.
All right, well, for Noah, Cecil, Tom, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thanking you for listening. We'll be back next week, and by then, Tom will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on God-awful movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you don't hate all the black people and all the Jewish people, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. Or you can go with the other option. Either way, again, your call. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, check out citationpod.com.
Okay, and taxes are due.
In April.
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly, always. It's every April.
So you say.
So the government says.
Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.